Hello and welcome everyone. I am Greg Zarko and this is my presentation for week 4 of MPA 590 Organizational Theory. Okay, so first we have the idea of natural systems theory, and this is the idea that people work together to achieve a common goal. Chester Bernard conceptualized concrete institutions as cooperative systems, and even stated that a cooperative system is a complex of physical, biological, and social components which are in a specific systematic relationship by reason of the cooperating of two or more persons for at least one definite end. And in short, agencies and people enter into an arrangement to accomplish what they cannot accomplish by themselves. This specifically applies to my hypothetical task force, as I am pulling agencies from multiple cities to accomplish one goal or one objective. It is hard to read Bernard's work and not think of Max Weber and Taylor when it comes to efficiency, and Luther Gulick when describing divisional work. The article that I found takes Bernard's statements about individuals willing to follow orders as long as it falls under their zone of indifference and puts it up against the Milgram experiment. The Milgram experiment was where people were led to believe that they were administering a shock to other individuals who were answering questions wrong. The experiment and the article state that individuals who believe they are following that they follow who they I'm sorry. The experiment and the article state that an individual who believes they are following authority will follow the orders. This applies to my task force because I have a combination of public servants who outside the task force would carry significant authority and regular citizens, and it is vital that the individuals with authority follow the orders assigned from above, and also to make sure that when they are given their orders that they are giving them legally and ethically. In Chapter 10, we discuss Robert Merton's structural functional theory, and he argues that the bureaucratic structure leads to overconformity, resulting in workers placing more emphasis in complying with the rules and regulations instead of focusing on organizational objectives, or as he puts it, the goals displacement. As a result, the organization as a whole loses its ability to adapt to changes taking place in its external environment. The article that I picked out is titled Flexibility and Rigidity in Crisis Management and Learning at Swedish Public Organizations. And this happened, it's a case study, there was a crisis in Sweden, and the team members that set up the task force had not prepared properly. They hadn't met before the crisis. They had certain rules to follow, and when the time came to respond to the crisis, a lot of time was wasted because people weren't very flexible. They stuck to what the outlines of the SOP they had, and in doing so, it just caused problems. And it wasn't until the after action review that they went back and had to figure out how to prevent it from happening again. This applies to my um, task force because it's almost the same thing. It's an emergency response made up of public personnel and volunteers, and it is important to be flexible and at the same time following those that are appointed over you. Um, yes. So here we learned about the open system theory. And the open system focuses on the exchanges with the environment and how to maintain external equilibrium as opposed to the natural system and their theorists who were more interested in micro level analysis and argued that living organisms would lose energy over time and believed that that was a natural progression that organizations go through. Open systems can introduce new energy and keep the life cycle of an organization going. Katz and Kahn use the example of a company that builds automobiles to describe the transformation of energies within the system. A company uses the raw materials it has and the labor force, creates the tires, sells the tires, buys new materials with the revenue it generated, and compensates the human labor, and then it can continue using the pattern. In the article that I use, the author argues that organizations must see themselves as part of a dynamic environment, that due to increasing complexity, changes relating to the various capital businesses that they rely on, and increasing global consciousness now require organizations to view themselves as part of a wider system rather than as an isolated unit that can decide when and how to engage with others. Operating as members of a system requires organizations to be reflexive and clear about what they are trying to achieve in the system. This I use this to coincide with my task force because in emergency services, not that I'm a part of one, but I feel like the need has to be, or you have to be greater than yourself to be part of a team, and you have to be reflexive, because it's no longer just going into a burning building or helping somebody whose house is on fire. Now the houses are made of different things, and there's different things inside the buildings and materials, the televisions that are made of certain things. The family dynamic has changed from 2.5 people to now more people and animals. So I thought it was a good article to apply it to my task force. That does conclude my presentation this week. I do apologize if I sound a little muffled or sped through some parts. I've been under the weather this week. But we finished. That's the important part. I look forward to hearing your presentations. Have a wonderful week. Stay warm, and we'll see you next week.